The other day I made a post inviting you guys to ask me anything about my homestead. Living in the Now asked me about permits and that process. How hairy can that get? And, well, right now I'm in my outhouse. So far, this is the only thing on the homestead that I've gotten permitted. This is a Pell Privy, basically a composting system. And it was really easy to permit. In fact, it was free. And you can see I'm collecting chambers to make an actual septic system, and that process won't be too difficult either. For the Pell Privy, the most complicated part was having the inspector come out and inspect it, and it really wasn't a big deal. And for the septic system, I'll have to get a site inspection, so I'll have to hire a guy to come out and do a site inspection, and then you have to have an engineer produce a schematic basically for your exact land, and then you need to pay for the permit, so, and then have it inspected. So that process, you know, it's a little bit of time and money, but it's not a horrible process. Crazed Vintage Model asks if the daytime heat is too much or if the nighttime kind of balances things out. And this year was hotter than any so far for me, and it got up to, I think, 105 on the homestead, and that was pretty hot but bearable. I have an AC unit on the top of the van and I haven't run it, you know, but I mean, I do get sweaty during the daytime. And then yes, at night, because it's been really hot, it's been getting down to about 60, 65 at night, which is pretty decent. And then, you know, this morning it was 55, and most of the year it's around 55 in the morning, which is pretty great in my opinion. Not only does it balance things out so you can sleep more comfortably at night, but it also, it cools the gardens down. You know, there's an aquaponic system down in the geothermal, and so that's able to absorb that coldness all night long, and so throughout the day it keeps it cooler in there. Haviland asked me what has surprised me the most about living off-grid and doing my homestead. And I had told people what I was going to do leading up to what I was doing, and people gave me all kinds of warnings about where I was going. You know, you can't do that. There's not enough water. Even someone warned me about cartels, even though I'm in northern Arizona. But what people didn't warn me about and surprised me was the wind. It's wild. The biggest concern you should have in northern Arizona is the wind. And that's cool though, you know, you learn to adapt to it, and I kind of enjoy the challenges and whatnot, so it's something else. But then again, you know, you can have, I don't know if you can see, there's a wind turbine up there. I had it hooked up before. It really helped out with my solar system. I need to get a new inverter before that one's actually, it's charging a battery, but I don't have a way to use the power from it unless it was DC right now. So there are benefits to having the wind though. The other part of Haviland's question was, do I feel like I've settled in? And yeah, definitely. I think after the first year I was feeling pretty settled in, and then well, this past December I built out my camper pretty nice. So I've got a queen size bed in there, and that's really comfortable, and then I've got my food, water, shelter in place. I have all kinds of stuff growing all the time, and the meat from the animals, and I've done a lot to make it home, and it's very comfortable for me. Emily asked me what qualities I looked for in my land, and is there anything that I missed? And my situation was different than a lot of people's probably. You know, COVID shut down the restaurants around my city, and I was laid off, and so I had to try to buy land with the least amount of money possible, you know, get my needs met, but do it as with the least amount of money possible. And so the economic side of it was huge for me. So, you know, buying the ideal property for homesteading wasn't on the table. It made more sense to buy something that was cheaper. They have all this land out in the Southwest. There's land in Colorado, Texas, New Mexico, California, Oregon, Nevada. All these places have land that's similar to mine that people don't think it's really high quality land, and it makes pretty ideal land for to fit your budget. Looking around, I saw a lot of land that had no trees, and although these are juniper, and some people like to call them bushes or whatever, they're 20 feet tall, and it's good to have. I have a lot of trees on my property, probably around 30, and so that was a benefit. So having trees, fitting the budget, I wanted to find a place that was near a lot of BLM land, you know, because if you're bumped up next to something like that, then you're not going to get a neighbor down the road. And I also wanted to find somewhere that was way out there, you know, nobody drives by, you know what I mean? Nobody just drives down the road. You'd have to be willing to spend pretty well fill a tank of gas just to go drive down somewhere or whatever. It's a long way out here. Having land that bumps up to BLM land is important to me, and just being way out in the middle of nowhere. Did you know that I've written a few books and sold thousands of copies of those books? I would imagine that people buy it and enjoy it because it's helpful. And a lot of the reviews people have left is how when they read the book, they feel like it's basically like watching one of my videos or being on the homestead with me, and I'm just talking them through the process. So you might want to check that out. I'll give you a discount code, 20% off, for just put in 20 off YouTube. We572 asked if any ladies have contacted me with interest in coming out here, and yes, unfortunately I haven't met anyone that I want to keep around the homestead. Todd asks what the rainfall is like and do I have a well. Nope, I don't have a well. This is a cistern right here. It actually goes all the way underneath that picnic table. This is 3,600 gallons. I have another one behind my agricultural shed. My pond is about 4,000 gallons. I just dug another 4,000 gallon cistern. And then I have about 2,000 gallons of containers. So about 19,000 gallons of rainwater I can store. So I can harvest and store 19,000 gallons. I have that ability. That gives me about 45 gallons a day to use 365 days of the year. That's 1 year's supply. If I double that, I've got 2 years supply. And the reason that's important is this year it did not rain that much. The 2 years before rained plenty to fill all my cisterns. Although I didn't have them all in place at the time. But last year, my pond completely filled, my cisterns completely filled. And this year it just wasn't enough. And that's why I need to have 2 years, so that hopefully it never is a drought for more than a couple years, or just kind of misses me. It did rain plenty out here. I just didn't get the brunt of it. And I think if I have twice as much as I need, well, if it's a little dry 1 year, it shouldn't matter. And I can get all the way through 2 years and just off spout whatever I can't store. And I think I'll continue to build my rain harvesting system, and maybe down the road I'll get a well. So Tijo asked if I get lonely, and I don't. I never feel lonely. I don't think I've felt lonely for a split second, and I've been out here getting close to 4 years. And well, I have a lot of animals. They're really great company. Now I have Sage. He's great company. And I'm on YouTube. I interact with a lot of you guys. And then the other thing is I've always thrived on my solitude. I was thinking the other day, even when I was a little kid, I'd build these little forts in a cardboard box and just crawl in there and be alone and enjoy it. And I guess it's just the same. I'm out here building the cardboard box and enjoying my solitude. So, well, hopefully I was able to answer all of your guys' questions. And I'll put a couple videos up here if you want to learn more about my homestead. Subscribe so you don't miss future videos, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.